Hello, everybody, and welcome back to What's Happening in the Hamptons, the show about places to go, people to see, and things to do in the Hamptons. I'm Jason Galka, and we are here at Seasons of Southampton for Social Life magazine's 10-year anniversary. This year's party is being hosted by Gossip Girl star Kelly Rutherford, who is also on the cover of Social Life's August edition. The featured guest this evening is renowned plastic surgeon and the founder of the nonprofit organization Developing Faces, Dr. Robert Morin. Let's go inside now and help celebrate Social Life magazine's 10th year in print. Welcome back to the 10th anniversary of Social Life magazine, and things are just getting off the ground. Joining me right now is Natasha Roberts. You look absolutely stunning tonight. Great to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
You too. And tell us, what brings you here to the event tonight?
I'm here with Dr. Robert Morin today and our charity Developing Faces. I'm a community advisory board member because of my background in nonprofits in Washington, D.C., working with Robert on some PR, and happy to be a part of the charity.
Absolutely. And what influenced you to get involved with the charity and work with Robert, other than your obvious background?
Well, I come from a very large family. I'm the oldest, so I'm used to being the helper, the one to speak up for others, and I enjoy doing things for others and giving back.
This really is a wonderful organization. It helps a lot of children that are born with a lot of facial deformities, so really great to give back as well.
Yes, and we're looking forward to our first mission this winter to Colombia.
Absolutely. And you do have several fundraisers that are happening this fall.
Yes, this fall we'll be starting with our September 11th film premiere of one of our other board members' documentaries on the rise of the Freedom Tower, and we're very excited about it.
Excellent. Well, Natasha, thank you so much for taking a moment to speak with me. A pleasure seeing you. You too. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to the 10th anniversary of Social Life magazine. Joining me right now is the guest of honor tonight, Dr. Robert Morin. Nice to see you. And you are the founder of Developing Faces, a nonprofit organization. Tell us about it.
Well, I co-founded it with a business development friend of mine and a lawyer. And the idea is we want to take trips to developing countries throughout the world and operate on children's faces. Children who are born with facial abnormalities need surgical care, and often that care is not available in developing countries. So the purpose of this charity is to go to those countries and provide those surgical services.
Excellent. So how does it feel to be the featured guest tonight?
It's very nice. I mean, Kelly Rutherford is also a wonderful guest, but I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. And you also have a fundraiser coming up. It's the first fundraiser for Developing Faces. What can you tell us about it?
Well, we're having two fundraisers in the fall. The first is going to be actually on 9/11 with some of our partners who are doing a tribute to 9/11. And then the second is going to be in October. And basically we're just trying to raise awareness and get the word out and let people know what we're doing.
So it's a great thing that you're doing, and plus this is a nonprofit organization as well. So how long have you been practicing cosmetic surgery?
So I did a 3-year general surgery residency, a 2-year plastic surgery residency, and then a craniofacial pediatric plastic surgery and facial cosmetic surgery fellowship. And then I've been in private practice for 3 years. So I'm not great at math, but several years. And so recently, about 2 months ago, me and one of the other co-founders were sitting around talking about things that we can do, and we decided, why not start our own charity? I mean, there's a need for it, and I was trained specifically to reconstruct children's faces, so why not?
So what influenced you, or what inspired you to come up with this, or co-found this wonderful organization?
Well, I did a craniofacial and pediatric plastic surgery fellowship, and as I said in the Social Life magazine article, actually, one of the times that I'm happiest in life is when I'm sitting outside of an operating room in a developing country in Central or South America after a 12-hour day of operating on kids' faces. So why not do that at least once a year, if not more?
It's a wonderful thing that you do, and thank you so much for being here tonight and having this wonderful organization out there. Is there a website that people can visit if they'd like to either make a donation or would like more information?
Absolutely. So developingfaces.org is the charity's official website. And then my website is robertmorinplasticsurgeon.com. So either of those two websites will have all the information you could ever need.
Dr. Morin, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening tonight. Thank you. Well, welcome back to the 10th anniversary party of Social Life magazine. Wow, 10 years, and joining me right now is the editor-in-chief, the lovely Devorah Rose. Hi, Devorah.
Honey, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So 10 years, look at this fabulous magazine. Being the editor-in-chief, I mean, you've come across so many stories over the years. You've been with the company all 10 years.
I have been, all 10 years.
Wow.
I remember when we did a cover with Kim Kardashian, like way back, like 6 years ago now. It's crazy. And it was so lovely to work with Kelly. She defines the word genuine. She's the kindest, loveliest woman I've ever worked with. And I really enjoyed it. And I'm so happy she brought her kids. I mean, how down to earth and wonderful is she?
She really is. Kelly is a wonderful actress. I remember her on Melrose Place, so it's so great to have her here and host this. I loved Melrose Place. Did you?
Me too, yes.
It was a fantastic show of the 90s. But getting back to your work as editor-in-chief, I mean,
Yes.
what is the magazine about for people that may not be familiar with it?
Social Life magazine is a luxury and lifestyle publication in the Hamptons, but we don't just focus on luxury, we also focus on the Hamptons itself. You know, local markets, the beach, anyone can actually come out here and enjoy many of the aspects of the Hamptons, and that's something that a lot of people don't know.
Exactly. And being with the company for 10 years, what are some of your best moments and some of your favorite covers, let's say, over the years?
I would say oh gosh, I can't pick a best cover. I really enjoyed Lydia Hurst and Kellen Lutz at Recreated the Great Gatsby. And that was really lovely and a lot of fun. We almost canceled the shoot because it was pouring rain that day and the photographer was using a vintage camera and we got photos unlike any photo we've ever, I mean, it was stunning. It was stunning. It was a miracle. I was so scared, and actually, I met another cover girl because Anna Lynn McCord was dating Kellen at the time, and then she ended up being my cover the next summer. I really enjoyed working with the Bush family. Lauren Bush is not just beautiful, but she is so intelligent. She gives back, and I think that's really important. Kim Kardashian, believe it or not, was the easiest person I've ever worked with. She just came in and was easy breezy like no one else I've ever met. Very kind. And of course, Beth Stern. We put Beth Stern on the cover, every year. Her husband, Howard Stern, photographs it. And she's not just beautiful, but she has a kind heart. All our cover girls are not just, pretty faces. They're women who give back and have a lot to share with the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how does it feel to celebrate year number 10? A decade has gone by.
I can't lie about my age anymore, so that,
Honey, you're beautiful as hell.
I'm still 19, guys. It feels great. When we first started, it was really thin and we didn't know what we were doing, and now we have like 250-page books, and I could not be prouder. I've worked with so many interesting up-and-coming artists, as well as, I gave Whitney Port her first cover. I gave Bethany Frankel her first cover. I put Kellen on the cover right when he was making the splash. So it's really great to see these talented stars rising up, and also the people behind the scenes, incredible photographers. And I mean, it's been a dream come true. Every day I wake up and I'm like, yeah, I got to go to work. Woo! So.
It's a fantastic magazine. I have looked at it, and you can certainly pick it up out here in the Hamptons. Devorah, thank you so much. You look lovely this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome back to the 10th anniversary party of Social Life magazine. Joining me right now is the co-founder of the nonprofit organization Developing Faces, Sue Kim. Nice to see you, Sue.
Very nice to see you.
Thank you. So tell us about this wonderful organization. We heard from your co-partner, Dr. Morin. So what's your take on this wonderful organization?
Sure. So Dr. Moore and I were sitting at lunch one day. I actually do his PR. And he said to me, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? And I said, I would travel around the world donating and doing charities for children. And the reason I focus on children is because when I was 4 years old, I got hit by a car. I was in a wheelchair for 4 years. And to recover from something like that, you really just realize how special life is and how you want to give back. So I focused on a lot of charities, focusing on children with more like cancer research. And he and I were sitting down. He said that he does a lot of missions, doing facial surgery for children in developing countries. And so we said, well, why don't we just get together and do a non-for-profit for our own, because we know where the money's going. Because when you're donating money to a charity, you really don't know where it's going. So we know where the money's going. I mean, ours is strictly nonprofit. Now we're just starting and raising money, so that's where we are at now.
That's fantastic, though. It's such a life-altering experience for you at 4 years old, and then to spend 4 years in a wheelchair. I mean, what was that like? And
Honestly, it was tough. I mean, I was that 4-year-old in the wheelchair, and when you're a young kid, when you have any kind of abnormality or handicap, other children don't want to really play with you. You're kind of, because children don't know, at that age. So growing up, I'm just so lucky that my surgeon was so wonderful, and I am able to walk. I teach spin classes. I work out every day. So I was very, very lucky. So it was hard growing up. I didn't get to do normal things that children did, and I missed out on a lot of stuff. And I just don't, if there's a child out there that felt the way that I did, then I would do anything to make that go away.
wow, it's such an incredible organization as well. So how do you feel to be here tonight for the 10th anniversary for Social Life magazine?
I'm very excited. I really like Justin a lot. I know Justin from the past. He's a really good guy. And I'm just excited that I could put him and Dr. Morin together. And then, this is our soft lunch for our charity. So come fall, we're going to go really aggressive. It's nice to just sit back and just introduce our charity to people in the Hamptons as the summer kind of comes to an end.
Absolutely. Wow, well, fantastic organization. One more time, what is the website if people would like more information?
Sure, please go visit us at www.developingfaces.org.
Excellent. Sue, thank you so much. Fantastic thing you and Dr. Morin are doing. Thank you. Well, joining me right now is the hostess of this evening here at the 10th anniversary party of Social Life magazine. She's also on the cover of the August edition, the lovely Kelly Rutherford. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Such a pleasure to have you here with us today. So how does it feel to, number one, be on the cover of this month's magazine?
It's so much fun. The photo shoot was amazing with Matthew and Devorah. They made everything so easy and glamorous and fun, and it was great. It was really, really a beautiful day, and the photo shoot was amazing and fun, and
As it is today.
love the magazine. Yeah,
It's absolutely gorgeous out, and you are the hostess of this evening. So how does it feel to be chosen to host?
it feels great. It's great to be out here in the Hamptons, and the weather's gorgeous, so we got lucky.
Fantastic. And you probably are best known for your roles on Melrose Place as Megan Mancini. I was a Melrose Place fan. And also on Gossip Girl.
Yes, yeah.
Fantastic. So what do you love about acting, if you don't mind my asking?
I don't know. I've always loved people and wondered why they make the choices they make. And, my mother used to always have to stop me from staring at people. I'd be like, why is she wearing that? Why did she choose that purse? Why is this? Why did she marry that guy? So it's just sort of, I think I've always been very curious and wanted to do something that I would never get bored with.
And acting is something you certainly can't get bored with. You also have several Lifetime movies out there.
Yes. I've done a few of those, and you never think you'll see them, but they come back. I'm like, I'll go do this thing. No, but the one I did recently was really a lot of fun, and I'm a huge fan of Lifetime. And Matthew came and played my husband, after playing my husband on Gossip Girl, and Natasha is so amazing, and Peyton List, who's just this sort of Disney phenomenon. She's just this Barbie doll, and like one of the nicest girls I've ever met. And we just had a lot of fun. We went up to Canada, to the wine country. We looked out at horses every morning from my hotel room, and it was just beautiful. It was a great experience. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. So what's upcoming for Kelly Rutherford?
I'm going to do a reoccurring on Reckless, which is a new show for CBS, and I'm looking forward to that. And
Fantastic.
yeah, just my website, which keeps me very busy in between everything. So.
Fantastic. Well, Kelly, thank you so much. Number one, for being here this evening, and number two, for speaking with me. A real pleasure. Thank you very much. Welcome back to an all-new What's Happening in the Hamptons. I'm Jason Galka, and we are here in sunny Southampton at the 6th Annual Antique Auto Show. So if you're a classic car lover, this is the show for you. Behind me is a variety of beautifully restored autos ranging in age from the teens through the 60s by some of Long Island's most premier car collectors. So let's head on in now and catch a glimpse of some of these classic beauties. All right, so here we are in a 1949 classic Chrysler here, owned by George and his lovely wife Mary here. How are you guys today?
Okay.
Great to see you. So tell us about this beautiful car. I noticed a lot of fine detail, wood panels. I love the color of it.
Well, it's one of my newer cars, and the reason I got it, it has not been much restored, and it's very drivable, and it keeps up with the highway traffic, and it hasn't let me down. I got it a year ago, just the way it is, and the brakes are good. It's semi-automatic, and at my age, my old cars are too hard to drive and too slow. So this one you can cruise along at 65, 70, and it doesn't cause any problems. And we do get a lot of attention. We have people jumping out of their cars taking pictures. We have them taking pictures going along the highway through their drivers taking pictures with their cell phone of us. And so it's getting more attention than any of my other old cars I've ever had.
So are you a big car collector?
I've been car and boat collector for my whole life. I still have my first car, which is a 1950 MGTD, which I got when I was 15, and it runs very well. I used to drive that mostly from Florida to New York. I spent most of my life in Florida, 60 years at least. And I have another car up here, which is a 1931 Rolls-Royce town car. But it is very pokey. It doesn't take off very well, and I can't find a big enough spot in the road to accelerate. This car you step on, it does pretty well. It has fluid drive, so that you have no first gear in it. It has a second gear, and it takes off in second, and then it shifts itself into third, actually 1 and 2, and then you move the handle down, and that would be 3 and 4. And after that, you don't have to do any shifting. You just push the clutch in and out, and it shifts itself. And surprisingly, it's doing very well. It hasn't.
Yeah, it appears. I mean, it looks fantastic, and it's so comfortable too. They don't make cars like this anymore.
No, this seat is great. My back is rotten, and this seat feels real good compared to my other cars. This is a real. That's why we're sitting in here. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I noticed the Florida plates. Did you drive this up from Florida?
No, all my other cars I've driven up, but I got this one up here in New York actually last summer. I was looking for something that I can drive, and we are planning on taking a trip either all the way to the West Coast or partly through to the Midwest this fall when it gets cooler. The car has no air conditioning, and it's quite warm this summer, so we'll wait till the fall, but I think the car will do fine. There is a good mechanic in Holbrook, Gaslight Motors, and they know all about this car. They've been through it, and he tells me it should be no problem at all, and so I feel confident if something happens, it'll go back to him.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful car. Mary, how do you enjoy the ride?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I just love it. I'll go anywhere in it.
What do you think of your husband's car collection?
He has one too many. He's thinking about getting more, but I think he has one too many.
It's every man's pleasure.
Take care of, right?
Absolutely. Well, it's a beautiful car. Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing this with us. Enjoy the rest of the day. So joining me right now is Arthur here at the 6th Annual Classic Car Show in Southampton with his 1951 Mercury. Arthur, nice to see you today.
You too.
Great to have you here. So tell us about this beauty.
Well, I purchased it 30 years ago, and it was not much different the way it is now. And then about 2 years ago, I sent it out just to have it painted and put a new top on it. And then it wound up into taking the body off and painting the chassis, and it was a ground-up restoration.
Wow. So it went from one thing to the other, but it came out absolutely beautiful. I mean, how many times have you driven it on the road in 30 years?
I take it out a lot. I have another one, but I alternate between the two of them. And it's, summertime convertibles and wintertime the coupe.
So why did you choose this car to bring out here today?
Well, because of the weather, it was a beautiful day, and not too many people, see stock convertibles that haven't been chopped up and lowered and nosed and decked. And I chose to bring this one versus the coupe. The coupe I had here 2 years ago.
Absolutely, and very interesting license plate. First thing I noticed, Cruisin'. Is there a funny story that goes with that?
Well, originally, Cruisin' is spelled Cruisin, but that was taken, so I got a little innovative.
Absolutely.
The other plate on it said topless, so I changed that and I went to Cruisin'.
So what do you enjoy about this car over the other car? And what is the other car that you have?
1951 Mercury.
Same exact thing.
Yeah, same exact car, but a coupe.
Okay.
It's two-door. This car, it's very unusual. It's got hydraulic windows and seats, which was a rare option in those days. It does have the automatic transmission, where most of them had a 3-speed. And they made 6,719 convertibles in 51, and that was the last body style year of this, which they called a bathtub, and the Fords were called shoebox. And then I had the coupe for 40 years, and then I went to Ohio, first to Pittsburgh to look at a 49. Didn't like that. Then we went to Ohio to look at another 49, and the guy had a building with about 40 cars in it, and this was covered in the back. And I said, what about the 51? He said, what 51? I said, that one. He said, it's not for sale. I said, well, let me look at it. When I saw the color, Sheffield green, that's rare color. And 4 months later, he got in trouble with the IRS. He needed cash, and the car was delivered to me.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
Don't regret it. It's only got 57,000 miles on it. Yeah.
Original miles.
Yeah, original miles. Yeah, original miles. It's just a sweet car.
And as you stated before, it is very rare. There's maybe only 90 of them out there, if that.
They say 60, but I'm sure there's 90. I'm sure that there are some barns that have some hidden away that have to be redone. But it's an unusual car, and it's the color. It really is the color.
Beautiful car. Arthur, thank you so much. Okay, well, welcome back to the 6th Annual Classic Car Show here in Southampton. And joining me right now is a man that has a huge knowledge of these classic cars. Peter, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
So you have a 1956 Studebaker behind us here. Beautiful two-tone green color. You have pictures over there of its whole restoration process. Tell us about it.
Well, this car, I bought this car from a man on Long Island in Deer Park whose specialty was restoring Studebakers. And he was in the process of restoring this when I saw it, and I agreed to buy it when he was done with it. And I had to wait 1.5 years for that.
But it was worth the wait, wasn't it?
Absolutely. This is a very low mileage, low production vehicle. There are only 3,050 of them made, of which, according to my research, there are only 66 registered in the country.
Wow.
So this is a very rare car.
And you have a lot of knowledge because just before we started, you were going through the whole car from head to toe.
I know about cars, and I certainly know as much as I can about this car. Sometimes I go to shows with where there are Studebakers people, and they always have something new to tell you didn't know about your car. Plus, Studebaker has a wonderful club, the Studebaker Drivers Club, and you can go on a forum and ask any question about your car, and there will always be people who'll jump on there.
Wow. So tell us about this beautiful engine here that's displayed. I mean, it's not like today's engines in today's cars where you can actually see where everything is. It's at your fingertips.
Well, they didn't cover them up in those days. They wanted you to see it. This is a Studebaker manufactured 289 cubic inch engine, which is the equivalent of about 5+ liters by today's measurement. It's a completely modern engine. It's overhead valve. It has a 4-barrel carburetor, which was designed for maximum power. And this car put out 220 horsepower. This was the high-performance version of this car.
Wow.
And today, if you drive the car just cruising around like I like to do, it will pull from 15 miles an hour to 70 or 75 without skipping a beat.
Wow. So it's got a nice pickup to it.
It's got good power, good low-end torque. It pulls nicely.
Absolutely. So how often do you take this beauty out on the road?
I drive it all the time, especially during the good weather. And although came from Pennsylvania and was restored here in Long Island, I have two places in Southampton that do the body and mechanical works for me. One is called Joe's Garage in Southampton on Route 39, and another is called Randall's Auto Body. They're up this way, and they do the auto body work, and those are the only people I let.
They're allowed to touch it.
Absolutely.
It's an absolutely beautiful car. Peter, thank you so much for sharing with us. Sure, please do. Let's hear that baby purr. Wow.
This is the sound that's so great. Listen to, put it by the
Listen to that.
I go cruising around in the Hamptons, those back roads in the Hamptons. And
It's a chick magnet, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but at my age, I have to make sure there's room for their walker in the back seat.
You could get them younger than that, I'm sure, cruising around in this.
Maybe.
Peter, thank you so much.
Hey,
A pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Nice to meet you.
Okay, well, right now I'm joined by Bill, who's actually a familiar face to me. Good to see you again, Bill.
Jason, good to see you.
So this is your beautiful 1925 Model T here. Tell us about it.
Well, the car is the most famous car of the 20th century, Model T Ford. This is the car that put America on wheels, Jason. They sold approximately 17 million Model Ts. Now, you could get different bodies on it, but inside was the same. It cruises at 30, 35 miles an hour tops. This is a 1925 model. This was the most expensive car they made in 1925. It's a four-door sedan.
It's absolutely beautiful.
This car, the gas tank is under the front seat, so when you go to get gas, you have to get out because there's no fuel pump. This car has no water pump. It's cooled by the boiling principle, which works great as long as you're moving. But if you're stuck in traffic, she tends to steam, which is fine. It's like a tea kettle.
So nothing to get panicked about.
The radiators are not pressurized like a modern car. Here's your crank, which you can use to start. And if you're very good later, I'll let you crank it up. Okay. But because this car was deluxe, it came with an electric starter, which I always try to use rather than the crank start. To drive the car, if you notice, there are two rods on the steering wheel. One is the gas. There's no gas pedal.
We can take a walk around.
It's done by throttle. Go ahead. It's done by throttle.
You follow me here, Bill, so we can get your audio.
It's by throttle. And the other rod is your spark advance. In other words, I have to put the car in time as we drive. That's all done in your car today automatically. So to drive a Model T, you're one with the machine. The machine depends on you. You got to know what you're doing.
There's a couple of interesting things about this specific model, too. It's one of the first that actually have windshield wipers, as tiny as they are.
1925 was the first year that a windshield wiper was standard on a Ford. Hand wiper, but it was the first year that they came with the car. Other people made things for Fords, so you could buy a hand windshield wiper that you have to clip on yourself, but now it's standard. Ford did not sell a side view mirror. You had to buy that extra if you wanted.
So that's like an extra back then, as we would get at navigation in today's cars.
Correct. If you look at the running board, that has a foot plate on it. That was extra if you wanted it. The car, there were very few things you could get with it. If you look inside, some things you're going to find very interesting. If you look at the floor, you'll see that I shift with my feet. There's no clutch and like you expect with the regular car in the shift gear. Your left is what makes you go forward. I push down on the floor. When I take my foot off the clutch, it pops into high, so it's two gears, low and high. Between low and high with my left foot would be neutral. If I want to go backwards, I have to shift with my left foot into neutral. With my right foot, I have to hit the center pedal, which is reverse, say a prayer that it works, and then...
I'm saying, like, Bill, I would crash your car. There's no way you could drive.
If you drive with me, Jason, you say a lot of prayers. And the right side is the brake, but if you look close, the brakes are not on the wheels. you break a Model T from the transmission. It's the planetary gears. In other words, there are bands in there that would rub together. That stops the car, which makes sense if you were around in 1908 when this car was built, because the mechanics in 1908, think of what a road was like in 1908. It was all dirt. If you look out here in Southampton, there was no paved roads, so the car would sink into the mud. If on a car that had mechanical brakes, which other cars had, they got wet, you have no brakes. Model T, even if you're wet, you've got brakes because you're braking from the transmission, which is sealed.
This was luxury back then.
This was a very good way of doing it. Now, the drawback, of course, is you cannot stop short, but no one stopped short in 1908, 1925. So when I drive, I really watch the road ahead. The thing that upsets me, makes me nervous, is coming through Southampton today, people just walk between the cars, they walk out into the street.
Yeah.
And of course, I say a lot of prayers for these people because, I can't stop short, Instead of walking at the crosswalk where they should, sometimes they just step out. So, but on the whole, it's great. I drive the car every day. The only time I don't take it out is snow and heavy rain because there's no defroster, there's no heater. The way you kept warm in 1925 is you had a lap robe. You wore your gloves and you wore your scarf and you were fine.
So how would you keep the window from defogging, or you didn't really have that problem?
Rag with you.
So you were your own defroster.
Defrosted. But if you open the windshield, a
A lot
crack.
of work to own a car back then.
But you're coming from a horse and wagon, that's how you did it. Also, you could open the windshield for ventilation. You could open it further and you put your arm out with your rag and you just dry it off.
Very interesting. Can we take a look inside again?
Certainly may. Here's
Now, let me ask you. Now, even though this has been restored, how close is this to the original when they were in 1925?
This upholstery is exactly how it was. The color is exactly how it was. The engine is exactly. There's nothing on the car that would not have been here in 1925. The same people who made the upholstery in 25, there are companies out that still make it. There are guys who make the tires. People say to me all the time, how do you get tires? Tires are the easiest thing to get.
Wow.
It's a very popular hobby. The best part is the horn, if you want to hear it.
Sure.
That was a very big improvement because the early Model Ts had a bulb horn, which you squeezed, honk, honk. So now they advertised electric horn. This was a great thing. That's the buzzer. This car next to me, the Model A, is what sort of replaces this car. This has the famous Auga horn. That comes next in the Model A. But this is the car that put America on wheels. This is part of our history. Absolutely. This is the most famous car of the 20th century, the Model T Ford.
And you keep it in great shape.
Oh,
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Thanks so much, Bill. I
Anytime,
appreciate it.
anytime,
Thank
buddy.
you. Thank
Good
you.
seeing you.
So there you have it, classic car lovers. This has been the 6th annual Antique Auto Show here in Southampton, which they do every year, as I said, for the past 6 years. So if you missed it this year, come back next year. They will be here. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jason Galka, and this has been What's Happening in the Hamptons.